We make things. We use our hands, minds, and machines to build, to fix, to improve. We're known as do-it-yourselfers, home improvement fans, fix-it fanatics, inventors. At our core, though, we're all makers. So let's jump in and make something.
Hi, I'm Ron Hazelton. Welcome to the show. You know, I can't wait to tackle some home improvement projects. Others I put off as long as I can, and today's job is one of those. For months, my wife has been after me to put a prep sink in our kitchen island. Now, it's not the plumbing that's putting me off, it's having to cut through the solid granite countertop. Well, trepidations or not, the time has come for me to tackle this task, so let's go. I think you're going to find this very interesting.
Now, to my way of thinking, this is a perfectly good granite countertop on the kitchen island. And the thought of putting a hole in it makes me kind of shudder. But that's exactly what my wife Lynn wants me to do. She says that because we have the oven, the cooktop, the microwave, the dishwasher, and the sink all clustered over here in this corner, that we create an enormous traffic jam. And she's asked me to put a prep sink down on the far end of the island. Now, I resisted this idea for quite some time. But then, being the smart husband that I am, and knowing that I have an anniversary coming up, I've decided to send her off to the spa for the day and surprise her.
Greg Pia, a third-generation stonecutter, has agreed to do the surgery. He's using a diamond-tipped blade. The water cools and lubricates the blade and helps keep the dust down. Step one is to cut out the four sides of the opening. Next, Greg makes angled cuts at each corner, leaving only small bits of the stone holding the cutout section in place. Then he attaches a suction handle, gives the stone a few taps with a dead blow mallet, and out comes a rather hefty chunk of granite. To finish the opening, he switches to a smaller tool and extends the cuts as far into the corner as possible. That done, the remaining corner pieces break away with a couple of taps. A little grinding removes the final bit of granite from the corners. Now I can remove the dam that kept the water from flooding the countertop.
Well, this is the ultimate test to find out if that hole is the right size and in the right location. Here's my new sink. I'm going to drop it in. It fits, and the hole is just slightly oversized, which is exactly the way we want it.
With the sink in position, I lower a plumb bob through the center of the drain hole and mark the location directly beneath. Then, using an extra long drill bit, I bore through the bottom of the cabinet and into the basement below.
Well, I'm down in the basement, and here's where the drill came through, right here. Now, that's the center of the sink opening. And actually, I'm in pretty good shape because I have a cold water line right here, a hot water line here, and a drain right over here. So everything is in fairly close proximity.
Because I've put in shut-off valves for the kitchen and laundry room, I don't have to turn the water off for the entire house. The first step in tapping into the existing water supply is to cut the copper lines with a small pipe cutter that works very well in tight quarters like these. Then I make a second slice and actually remove a small section of pipe. This will give me the space I need to install the T-fittings I'll be putting in shortly. I'm sanding the pipe to remove any surface dirt and oxidation. This is the first step in getting a watertight solder joint. With the pipe clean, I next apply soldering flux. This paste helps the solder flow evenly and promotes a good bond with the metal. The inside of the fittings also needs cleaning, and this I do with a metal brush made just for the purpose. Once I finish the cleaning, I coat the fitting with Flux 2. Now I can slip the pieces together. Now I'm turning my attention to the drain. Slicing through this guy calls for a substantially bigger pipe cutter. For this project, I'm removing about a foot of pipe. The new drain line will be PVC plastic pipe that's glued or welded together. I first apply a purple primer to both the fitting and the pipe, followed by an application of PVC cement. Now, a good rule of thumb when applying the primer and cement is to make 3 complete rotations. While the surfaces are still wet, I slip them together, give them a slight twist, and hold them for a few seconds. If I don't hold them securely, the pipe and fitting can actually push away from each other. This Y assembly will allow the new sink drain to join the existing drain line. These couplings are what some plumbers call mission clamps. First, I slide on the metal band, then lubricate the pipe with dishwashing detergent and slip on the rubber sleeve. The dishwashing detergent acts like a lubricant and will not deteriorate the rubber. Once I have the Y assembly in place, I pull the rubber sleeves over the joints, slip on the clamps, and tighten them up. This perforated copper hanging strap will help support the drain, taking any strain off the coupling. Now I'm back upstairs drilling the holes for the water supply lines. This long shaft spade bit is the perfect tool for this. Next, I move on to the drain. Here, I'm using a 2-inch hole saw with a shaft extension. I'm doing the best I can to make sure the drill bit stays as vertical as possible.
Now I need to put in the run of pipe that will connect the drain and the water supply lines to the sink. I want to do a dry fit first to make sure that all the pipe is cut to the proper length. Then I'll go back and cement or solder it in place.
Before I disassemble the pieces, I make reference marks so that I can put them back together in the same position. Then I glue the assembly together. Attaching one end to the riser that goes into the kitchen cabinet and the other to the Y in the drain. Finally, I check to make sure there is a gradual downward slope to the drain. Now I can fit the copper pipe together. For this project, I'm using pre-soldered fittings. The solder is already inside. All I have to do is add heat. When things get hot enough, the solder liquefies and begins to flow out of the joint. You can see it here and here.
All the connections are made in the basement. The pipes are all coming up into the cabinet. Now I have to add some fittings on this end, and then I can start on the sink.
First, I'm installing what's called a sanitary T. The sink drain will attach to this later. Above the T goes a vent. And at the bottom, a trim escutcheon. Next, I cut off the water lines, install escutcheons on these, slip on the shutoff valves, and tighten the compression fittings with a wrench. With the heavy part of the plumbing done, I've taken a break and gone to the Home Improvement Center to pick up my new faucet.
Now I only have one rule when it comes to putting fittings and fixtures on a sink, and that is I attach everything I possibly can to the sink before I drop it into the opening.
I always loved modeling clay as a kid, and this is about as close as I can get to it in home improvement. It's plumber's putty, a mixture of oil and minerals like limestone and clay. Plumber's putty has been around for ages. It seems to last forever, and it's what I use to seal the sink basket to the sink itself. On the underside of the sink, I place a rubber seal, an anti-friction fiber washer, and the lock nut. This basin nut wrench has only one purpose in life, and this is it. With the basket snugly in place, I lift off the excess plumber's putty. Here's my new faucet. To install it, I drop the water lines through the hole, flip the sink over, slip on a mounting plate, screw on a nut, and then tighten it up using a plastic socket that came with the faucet set. Next, I pass the flexible sprayer hose through the center of the faucet and connect it on the underside.
Now, if you ever tried to put all of these fittings on a sink after it's in place, you'll appreciate exactly how much easier it is to do it this way. I'm ready to drop this in the opening now. I just need to put some silicone sealant around the edge.
This type of sink drops in from the top and is called self-rimming. The watertight seal around the edge comes from the silicone and these clamps on the bottom side that pull the sink down into firm contact with the countertop when they're tightened. To make the last few hookups on the drain, I attach this tailpiece to the bottom of the sink basket, slip on the P-trap, and connect everything to the drain system. On the water supply side, all I have to do is screw on the lines from the faucet, snug them up with a wrench, and turn on the water. Come on, keep your eyes down.
Let her down.
Look at the floor only.
I'm
All right.
looking
Now,
at the
well, you've
floor.
been out luxuriating at the spa.
Yes.
Which I'm glad you did. I've been hard at work here.
Can I open my eyes?
So this is something you've been wanting for a while. Go ahead, take a look.
Oh my God! Wow! Oh, my prep sink. Thank you so much, honey.
All right.
Wow! Wowie! This is really
Yes.
great. I love it. It's great.
See, and it's all prepared for you. Your
Oh,
food's
yeah.
over there, ready to go.
Great.
You like
Food
it?
prep. I love it. It's great. Really. Thank you very, very much.
Happy anniversary.
Anniversary? I don't think so. That's a getting a vacuum. No, but I love it though. I do.
Okay, here's your anniversary present for real.
Ooh, Tiffany's.
So, enjoy.
Thank you, honey.
Okay.
Ah, the wonderful world of laser levels. You know, in the last few years, these have gotten more compact and less expensive, and this is a good example. It's a state-of-the-art version from Ryobi, and built into the base right here is a rubber suction cup. On board is a vacuum pump, which means you can stick this to almost any flat surface without any pins, nails, or clamps. Let me show you how.
I place the laser level near the wall and press a button to turn on the miniature vacuum pump. I can actually feel the level pull out of my hands and stick to the wall. The vacuum pump continues to run, holding the instrument securely in place. I adjust the turret until the bubble tells me it's level. Notice how the laser line continues into the corner and onto the adjacent wall. To check for plumb, I rotate the head 90 degrees, again adjust for level, and now I have a perfectly vertical line. Laser levels are especially handy if you're working alone, and they'll also keep you from having to make a lot of unnecessary marks on your walls.
Well, I guess you could say that the laser is changing the way that we look at the world, including home improvement, and that's on the level.
You know, I really like pegboard storage. Get your tools out where you can see them, they're convenient to reach, and they're very flexible. You can change it around as you like. But one of the things that's kind of bugged me about pegboards is sometimes the hangers themselves come loose when I'm trying to put a tool back or take it down. Well, here's a new product that solved that problem. This tool holder is made by Talon. Now it engages the pegboard in 3 places, here, here, and here. Once it's in position, if I push this screw in, you see it spreads these 2 wings right here and locks the entire thing in place. Let me show you how it works. These tool holders come in 7 different styles. That's enough to hang up anything I've got. This is a screwdriver holder here. You see it's got a closed loop for the smaller screwdrivers. For the larger ones, all I did was cut the front of the loop, and then it just sort of, the shaft just slides in from the front like that. This is the plier holder over here. Oh, it's just about any kind of plier I can think of. This is a short elbow, good for box wrenches. This is a long straight bar here. Works for things like my crescent wrench. This is a long straight bar. Drop my drill right in there. And then these are curved hooks that are pretty much perfect for a hammer and saws. Well, that's going to work out just fine, and the best part about it is anytime I take a tool down or put it back, I don't have to worry about those hooks going anywhere. I guess you could say I've got about the perfect pegboard.
To view today's projects again, visit ronhazelton.com, where you'll find hundreds of how-to videos available 24/7.